Hey gang, this is John, and I'm out here to do a little bit of a couple of things. One of the things I want to do is I want to give a couple more tips for building a fire. It seemed like there was a couple of people that kind of missed the point from my last one, and I also got a visit from the feather stick police, and I actually had to go downtown to the Bureau of Feather Stick Creating and get relicensed to build feather sticks. So with that said, I want to make sure that and I also want to apologize for I guess a couple people didn't hear me, but I was rushed for time, and so I was kind of hasty with the way I built my feather sticks. And I thought about it, and when you're trying to teach somebody something and you don't have much time, you want to just don't bother putting that video on. Just wait till you have more time. So I'm going to actually create a fire and show you the way I build a fire, and hopefully this will help some new people. Because to be honest, 98% of the times I build it this way and don't even have to ever use a feather stick. But let me go ahead and show you that, and also I'm going to do a little update on the contest, because I decided also to give for I'm going to give 5 prizes, and one of them is going to be a fire piston, and so I brought that along so you can see the may make an ember with that too. So without further ado, let's get to building a fire. When I'm building a fire, what I do is the first thing is I actually prepare the fire lay, which is over here. That's the other thing too, is where I was before, it was dark and I couldn't see in here, so I had to go to where it was light, and you couldn't build a fire there. I just put a couple of sticks in here so that I can lay my kindling and stuff across there, so it's up off the ground, so there's a little more airflow. And when I'm building a fire, I virtually have pine at my disposal, like literally every time. If I'm in a hardwood forest, or if there's no pine, I'll look for things like honey locust to get the little thin thorns and other tiny stuff. Also, I can't think of the name of it'll come to me. When it comes to me, I'll tell you the other. It's also a hawthorn. Hawthorn is fantastic. I have built fires with hawthorn in a rain, and when it was raining, it had been raining a long time before, and those are still flammable enough that I didn't have to do anything other than just use a cotton ball with that. So this is a pine right here. And if you'll notice, it might be hard to see. I'll try to zoom in on it. You go to the little tiny fine sticks at the end. So I'll be gathering those. This is for the stuff for my tinder. And or kindling. But what I do is I go to the very ends of the very tiny ends, and I pick these off first. So I'll get a handful of these. These are so flammable that it doesn't take a huge amount of these, because then the next that go around is I go to the next larger size. This is pencil or toothpick size, and the next size I'm going to get is a little bit smaller, up to pencil size. But this is how I make almost every single fire I make. And that was really most of the point of the video before. Even though I said I was not going to be building a fire, I was basically describing things, and I thought that was good enough. But I think if you were not listening to what I was saying but just watching it, like if you had something else going on, you would have missed what I was trying to convey. So I thought what I would do is just actually build a fire for you. So whether I'm talking or not, everybody should be able to get it. So as I'm collecting these, and you go for the dead branches that are at the bottom of pine trees, there's always a bunch of dead branches. And even when it's wet out, they're good. Okay. Now I still wouldn't try to start these with a ferrocerium rod. I would use, if I was, I'd either use a lit bird's nest if I was doing it a primitive method that would light this, or a cotton ball. And after seeing almost every one of Dave Canterbury's great videos, I'm never without a knife and at least one cotton ball. So I just make sure that I don't get myself in a situation where I have to rely on something besides a cotton ball. I practice all these skills and then I make sure that I don't ever have to use them. And that's a tip for new people. You want to know all these skills, but you want to be prepared enough that you never have to use any of them. So what I do is I just do it for fun, because it's a blast learning these skills. And then if you, heaven forbid, ever do get caught out where you need them, you've got those tools in your toolbox. So now I'm getting a little bit bigger, and I'll show you in my hand. They're a little bit bigger sticks. And I just reach up and snap them off. I'll try to always keep this fairly well focused in. Okay. Now, this is enough. I'm not going to build a roaring fire because it's hot, and that's not why I'm here. But I just wanted to go through the mechanics of what I do. So I have a couple of piles. There's the larger sticks. The fine ones are right here. And I never have to use a feather stick, but I will make some feather sticks so that the people that like to see feather sticks can see feather sticks, and I will actually even light the feather stick and start it that way. When I'm doing this, I use cotton ball, or most of the time I do it a primitive method because it's more fun. So then I would use a bird's nest to light these little things right here. But today I'm going to create feather sticks and little bundles of curls, and I'll light those and then start this. And then after that I will get my fire piston out that I'm going to be giving away, and show everybody how that works. Get back to you in just a second. Here's another tip I use, that when I am have a bunch of wood to process, I find a tree like this one right here, and so that I'm not having to saw and do all that kind of stuff, I take it like this and snap it off, You stick it in here, and it just increases your force. It's like a lever, it holds it, and you can process a lot of wood this way. Okay, that's just another tip on conserving your resources. If you process all, you can break up a ton of wood that way faster than using a saw or an axe or your knife, and you can save all three of those implements for some time when you really need them, instead of dulling the edges by using them every single time you need to do something with wood. So that's just another extra tip. Okay, this is a piece of basswood. This wood is very soft, and it's like balsa, so this is kind of hard to get really thin ones without having them fall off. Okay. Those are paper thin, and most of them are almost full curl. Alright, so I'll also try using a different knife. This is the knife I'm going to use is, and I forgot, I wanted to use, this is the knife that I'm going to be giving one away just like this one. It won't be this one because this one's used, but I've got a piece of, here's a piece of cedar. Take some of these off. I'm going to take these curls off here so that I can start all over. Hope this is showing up on camera. All right, surface area. Okay. All right. I'm going to take this off. Now, you can see the difference with basswood versus cedar. It's harder. These are actually thinner than these, but it's this wood is so soft. It's like balsa, so it's almost coming off like a like you had a plane, like it was a plane. All right. So I'm going to take these shavings over Okay, I put the shavings in here, and I'm going to attempt to light them. There we go. Now you saw how hit and miss that was. And that's how, except for using the shavings, that's how I start all my fires. And you see, that's why I don't really baton anything. And then I just gather up things that are bigger and bigger, and I just build it from there. Okay. I hope that, actually helps some people, since I, didn't actually build a fire before. The exact way I do it by gathering little small stuff, and that was kind of the point. Now it's been a while, so I don't remember all the details of what I was trying to do, but that right there is how I start 98% of all my fires, except for I either use a bird's nest, some primitive way, or I'll use one of my cotton balls that I've soaked in gel wax. And you saw how many strikes it took just to get that super fine, dry cedar and basswood chips to go. So that's why I try not to rely on something like that. If you have to, that's one thing. But the point I was trying to make is to make sure you're prepared, especially when you're new. Carry some cotton balls with Vaseline on them, or what I like is gel waxed soaked cotton balls. And if you've never heard of that, I've got a video on how to make them, and Mike Barton did a phenomenal series of videos on making them. I think he called them the ultimate fire starters, or the ultimate cotton ball, one or the other. But that was on Bushcraft Barton's website. So either one, you can find them on either mine or his. And I hope that helps out, and I will be getting back to you when I get my fire piston out, and I will show you the fire piston I'm going to be giving away. Stay tuned. All right. Here's the kit I'm going to be giving away. I put everything in Ziploc bags, but the fire piston comes in a little bag. It's got some char cloth in it, but I'm also going to give you a tin you can make char cloth, but it's also full of char cloth. It also comes with a bag of grease and a sparrow ring. I put that little baggie in another bag because it looked like it was going to rupture, so that's why that's like that. But let's get started, and I'll show you how we can make use this to create an ember. First off, I want to make sure that there's grease on here on the O-ring. Oh yeah, it's already leaked, so I'm glad I put it in its own bag. Okay, now you want to make sure you wipe your hands off. Don't let your mom see you wipe them on your pants either. Okay, I'll get a piece of charred cloth now. Just want to get a tiny piece, just a little tiny piece, and fold it up. and then insert it into the very end of this. Push it in enough that it makes it stick. Okay. And now I use any kind of hard surface. You don't want to smash this on a rock or anything like that. Just barely. I'm not even in camera. There we go. See the glowing ember? Okay. So then you just, the way you use these, you should take a larger piece of charred cloth and you put that inside a bird's nest and you flick this one that's glowing onto that piece of charred cloth in your bird's nest, and then that gives you a large enough ember that you can get your bird's nest going. You don't want to rely on this little tiny one because sometimes you can blow that and it burns out before the bird's nest even gets ignited. But this is the fire piston I'm going to be giving away. So it comes in its own bag with multiple bags, one bag of tiny bag of charred cloth, and then this is full of charred cloth, and it's got a hole in it so you can make charred cloth with it. And then lots of grease and a spare O-ring. And it all comes luckily in this big plastic bag because the other one's leaking. It looked like it was about ready to give way, so that's why I put it in there. But this kit right here is going to be for somebody. Okay, so this right here is going to be one of the prizes. I'm going to also be giving away 3 bow drill sets and a Mora knife just like this one. And I can't remember the model of this one. I think it might be 511 or I'm not sure. It's carbon steel and it will be just like this except for new. Okay, that's the update. I also hoped you learned something from the fire building tips for all you new people. Once again, to reiterate what I was talking about before, part of it was about batoning, and I'm all for batoning, so I want to go on record as somebody that batons wood, but I am choosy with what wood I baton. I always make sure that I'm doing it with soft wood, and I use that method when I'm creating a bow drill set and I've got to cleave off a pretty carefully measured piece of wood, or I'm making a spoon or something. Or the other time I use batoning is if the wood is damp as anything and I have to get to the center to create a fire. And then once again I use my baton soft wood because soft wood burns hotter and faster, and then you can use that really hot flame to dry out and burn the get the hardwood started. Okay. Thanks for watching, and good luck everybody in the contest, and God bless. Catch you on the next one. Hey, I wanted to make a shout out to Heavy to Be You. His name is Brian, and he has a phenomenal channel. He is out west somewhere, I think, I don't know, one of the Great Plains states, I believe. Not sure, Nebraska or someplace out that way. But it's Heavy to Be You. I'll put a link at the bottom of this video, or at the end of this video. But he's somebody that could pick me up and snap me like a dry, dead twig. But he's got such a kind, gentle spirit that he's real knowledgeable, and after you're done watching one of his videos, you've learned something, and you just kind of feel good. If every one of us had a spirit like he does, probably 80% of the world's problems wouldn't even be an issue anymore. But anyway, just a great guy. His name is Brian, and I just wanted to give him a shout out. Thank you.